All right, so when we're talking about revision, there are many different areas that we want to look at. And one of those areas is revising for clarity. Clarity means clear. So good writing is clear writing. Some people think, oh, I'm going to use all these big words and these complex sentences to make myself sound smarter. But that's really the opposite. Because good writing is clear writing, when we write good sentences, our audience can understand them immediately. They are simple. They don't have to be full of long words. So we're going to talk about some ways to write clearer sentences. Because if your audience doesn't understand what you mean, what's the point of trying to convey anything to them? Okay. So one way you want to revise for clarity is to make sure your pronouns have clear antecedents. A pronoun is a word that replaces a noun. The noun that's being replaced is the antecedent. Okay? So if we look at this example, in the debate about legalizing marijuana for recreational use, some people claim it will lead to more marijuana users, and some people claim that taxing it will increase states' revenues exponentially. So it is the pronoun, but what is the it? Does it mean legalizing marijuana, or does it refer to the marijuana itself? Or is it recreational use of marijuana? I have no idea. So it's an unclear pronoun antecedent. We don't know what it is. So to make it clearer, to make sure that pronoun it, or those pronoun its have clear antecedents, we might want to revise for your sentence to say, and the debate about legalizing marijuana for recreational use. Some people claim legalization will lead to more marijuana users, and some people claim that taxing marijuana will increase states' revenues exponentially. That is a clear pronoun antecedent agreement. Right? Another aspect of revising for clarity is to use those little words correctly. On, in, to, from. If you use those words incorrectly, it confuses the meaning of your sentence. So you want to make sure that you read those sentences carefully to see if you've chosen the most appropriate little word. For example, angry citizens wrote letters to the issue of marijuana. Those letters were for their views regarding legalization. When we say it out loud, it sounds a little awkward, right? Because it is. Those are not the best little words to use. You might want to revise it to say something like, angry citizens wrote letters on the issue of marijuana. These letters expressed their views regarding legalization. We kept one of the little words on, but then we changed the other one and actually said what we mean and used a strong verb. You want to make sure, this is key, that you avoid those long sentences that have several complete thoughts. Now, not all long sentences are bad. As long, I guess what really kind of tends to happen is when we write really long sentences, because our understanding of grammar has some holes in it, the majority of the time we have written run-ons or comma splices, which are no-nos. They're grammatically incorrect. So if you're trying to cram a couple of different ideas into one sentence, you want to make sure you revise that. Okay, one sentence per thought. And I want you to pause the screen now and read the example and then think about that problem, that it's a long sentence with several different ideas embedded into it. So the clearer side is taking those same ideas, but separating them out into separate sentences. So go ahead and hit pause and then come back. Okay. So what they did then, they're taking this and they are separating those into those shorter sentences. So here's the first idea, and they put it in a shorter sentence. Okay. Here's another idea, and they put it in another sentence, and another idea, and another sentence. So they broke it out and separated, pulled the sentences, and wrote each one individually. You want to also, when you're revising for clarity, use concrete language. Concrete words are very specific. So instead of saying a mechanism, which you're like, okay, what's a mechanism? There's millions of them. Say grandfather clock. Say a turntable. Say a space heater. Instead of saying certain financial decisions can become obstacles to educational success. Okay, that's abstract. You have to tell me, what are those financial decisions? So it might be something like financial choices such as going into debt to buy a car or using student loan money on a new smartphone can affect your success in college. These debts result in increased workhouse and decreased study time. Okay? So use that specific, concrete language wherever and whenever you can. So I want you to look at the sentence and figure out what the issue is. And on a piece of paper in your notes, I want you to revise it for clarity. So go ahead and push pause and revise your sentence. All right. So let's see what you did with when people are hungry and tired, they do not always perform their best. Making employees aware of it will help them perform better. Okay. What did you put? This it is kind of weird, right? Change that. That's a weird pronoun antecedent. Okay. What about this one? Go ahead and hit pause, revise it for clarity. Okay. I missed one of my classes last week for a very good reason. That's not very concrete, right? A very good reason. Okay, that's abstract. You want to make sure that you have a concrete reason listed there. I was sick, I had jury duty, I was in a car accident, something. Okay. Try this one. Go ahead and pause it. All right. So this one has multiple ideas in one sentence, right? To prepare a large meal, set aside more than one day for cooking is an idea. You can prepare beforehand is another idea, and it helps not being stressed is another idea. So you want to make sure that you separate those into different sentences. And then last one, pause and revise this one. So in a hunch that they will like the class, I don't know what in a hunch, that's a very awkward construction there. Not really the correct small words. So you want to make sure that you revise that to clarify in a hunch. It's not in a hunch, that's incorrect. Okay, so you want to make sure, let's go back and look at all the different areas that you want to revise for. You want to make sure you have pronoun antecedent agreement. You want to use those little words correctly, that you separate your sentences into separate thoughts, and that you use concrete language whenever you can. Whenever you're revising your paragraphs, whenever you are going through those revising and editing stages, you want to make sure that you are looking at clarity of your sentences. We're going to talk about other areas of revising later on, but for now, you really want to focus on those 4 areas of revision.